everybody, here I am with another album from The Sword, or as I like to say it, The Sword. Alright. This is High Country, and no, at this moment, I'm actually not high. Okay, let's get into this album. Released in 2015. I believe this was the follow-up to the last album I did a review for The Sword. I know this song better by the track numbers because I've been listening in the car, not so much in the house with it in front of me. And I've listened to it a lot. And it's a really good album. And it's funny because I say I've listened to it in the car a lot. And realistically, what I have to say about this album is, okay, aside from being really good for driving, it's a good cruising album. It's also the type of album that when you're sitting at home and you're not going anywhere for a substantial amount of hours, possibly for a day, you pull out a nice big Cheech and Chong size fatty. Light that up. In Canada, it's completely illegal. Do not do it in a country or state or province where it's not legal. But where it's legal, you light up a big fatty and you let go on it, and just and enjoy this album, man. Crank it. Okay, can't talk about the cool ass artwork like I did in the last one. This one, artwork wise, a little more subtle. Music. The first half of this, there's 15 songs on this album. A lot of kind of smaller sort of interlude type stuff in there. And the first half of this album is definitely very much Sword. If you listen to their last album that I reviewed, realistically, if you like the last album, you'll like this one. But the first half of the album very much sounds like, a Sword album. It sounds like Sword. It's got that whole cool as D&D kind of sound without being D&D, fantasy kind of hippie-esque almost, it's just all over the place. But, good for being stoned. The second half of the album feels a little more experimental to me. There are 4 songs in particular on this album that really stand out to me, but one of the 3 that really stand out, it really stands out because of the riff that's in it. I'll get to it when I get to the song. Yeah, all right, let's get into this. All right, so the album opens up with Unicorn Farm. I really dig Unicorn Farm. Almost has a Jack White kind of sound to it. Quick little intro thing gets the album going, then goes into Empty Temples. Empty Temples runs into High Country, really, really enjoyable, which runs into Tears Like Diamonds. And Tears Like Diamonds is actually, I really dig Unicorn Farm, but it's only 45 seconds, so it's hard to include as an actual song when I say, oh, I like this song. But Tears Like Diamonds, it's one of the first songs I hear. It's got a kind of really grabbable chorus for me where, I just kind of when you sit there and go, with tears like diamonds upon her haggard face. It's just the way the delivery is on that line and the way they go with that song, it really works for me. Then you're into Mist and Shadow, Agartha. Sorry. So, Mist and Shadow, track 5, Agartha, track 6, enjoyable. Get to track 7, I started paying a little more attention again. It's around track 7 where the album kind of gets a little more, it's sounding like a Sword album still, but it feels a little more experimental. It feels like they're getting into some different styles of music. Like this one a little more funky for me. You know, I'm not saying it was funkish, but a little more funky. Had a little more kind of that almost hip hop kind of vibe to the drumming and whatnot. That was really enjoyable. Really got into it. Then you got Suffer No Fools, which was decent. Early Snow, which is decent. Then you get into track 10, which is Dream Thieves. And this one here, I have mentioned this before. This album was released in 2015. I have video footage of myself and Drew doing a song that we co-wrote together for a comedy thing that we were doing. We used to do a little comedy band called Hillbilly Metal. And if you go searching online for Chris Joe Bob, you'll find that there is some Chris Joe Bob and AK stuff out there still, but no Hillbilly Metal. Or very little Hillbilly Metal. One of the songs that we did was called Limp Dick Blues. All right. And the main riff, or one of the main riffs in Dream Thieves, is literally the exact same. Just ignore that. That's my cats bugging each other. That's Mayhem just bugging Lanny. Stop growling. All right. Now, why do I point this out? Because when Drew wrote that particular guitar riff, it was about 5 years before this album came out. It might have even been a little more than 5 years. I want to say it was around 5-ish years before, at least 5 years before this album came out. Now, these were songs that were posted online as it was part of a comedy thing. So is there always a possibility that the Sword heard this song online and ripped off this riff from me and Drew? It's always possible. Highly unlikely, but it's always possible. And in my lifetime, this would be the third or fourth riff I have come across that with Drew or with a member of the band, I have come up with similar riffs. If it's not with Drew, it was with Drew's brother, Matt. You know, where we came up with very similar kind of riffs, you know, and this, like I said, this is like the third or fourth time I've come across this. And this particular time, I absolutely have 100% pure evidence. Still have the original video footage to show that this footage was shot forever ago. Okay, and the song on here as well, Dream Thieves, is actually just really enjoyable. Then we're on to Buzzards, which was decent. Silver Petals, which is decent. Ghost Eye, which is decent. Turn to Dust is decent. And The Bees of Spring is decent. Now, I am downplaying a lot of this album because, like I said, I listened to a lot of it in my car, so I didn't get to memorize all the track titles properly. And this is one of those bands where they're really good at naming their songs stuff that's not necessarily either part of the chorus or, you know, is an abstract line or isn't even part of the song at all, you know. So, well, like for example, the first track, Unicorn Farm. Unicorn Farm has absolutely no lyrics in it whatsoever. So, you know, but it stands out as a name. Tears Like Diamonds, one of the few songs where there's actually like, I can read that and go, yeah, I know exactly what song that is because the lyrics. The instrumentation and the music within Sword is always fantastic. I always dig the music on this band. The vocals, I like the vocals, I do. The thing with the vocals is they're not anything special. They're not standout vocals or whatnot, you know. And with the way the lyrics are, or with the way the vocals are produced, This is why I say you gotta sit down and with Smoke One and listen to this album, because you gotta listen to the lyrics on this album. You know, you gotta listen to the singing. You know, it's not like listening to a Bob Dylan tune, but you know, if you look at bands like Graveyard, other kind of more Swedish, Scandinavian, Norwegian, but they sing kind of bands, that kind of sound in the voice, you know, that, you know, just, I think Witchcraft is the one I like to use as a description for the vocal style on here. Would I recommend this album? Yes. I think this is a fantastic album. I think it's really enjoyable. I'm gonna have to get into more Sword albums. You know, gonna have to give this one back to Drew eventually. Drew and I are joking around, okay? So, do you want to see a documentary on the nightmare Drew has to go through every time he has to pull out albums for me? Because, unfortunately, Drew's albums are currently stored away and they're packed up because he's got limited space. So, if you're interested in seeing a documentary, small little docu-flick on the life of getting albums out of Drew's closet, let me know down below. In the meantime, good album. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe button, bell for notification on your way down there. A couple links worth checking out. Otherwise, folks, peace, love, take care.